Hey everybody, welcome to this video. This is the video for Module 9 of Business Math and Calculators, which deals with converting between fractions, decimals, and percents. This one's going to be a little bit of a longer video because there's 6 examples that we're going to go through. But the idea is to show how you can switch between these different representations, which all represent part of a whole amount. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will walk through each of the example problems. Alrighty, so we're going to walk through the processes, the several steps, the several processes associated with converting between fractions, decimals, and percents. So with that, let's jump into the first problem. And in this one, we're going to convert from a fraction into a decimal. And the steps are pretty easy. It's basically one step. What you need to do is you need to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so you take the top number in the fraction and divide it by the bottom number in the fraction. When you do that in this situation, 13 divided by 20 gets you 0.65 or 65 hundredths. And really that's it. That's all there is to it. That's the decimal form that is equivalent to the fraction form. 13/20ths and 0.65 are the same. Again, as you do the division, just as a quick reminder, you keep dividing until either the decimal terminates, which means it ends, things work out evenly, or until there starts to be a clear repeating pattern. So for example, if you have the fraction 1/3, if you divide 1 by 3, you get 0.3333333. It just keeps going on. Once you've got a pattern that repeats, then you know that you're finished and you're good to go. So again, keep dividing until it either ends like it does in this situation or until a repeating pattern clearly is present. So there's our first example. To convert a fraction to a decimal, simply divide the numerator by the denominator. Divide the top number by the bottom number. All right, sample problem number 2. This time we're going to convert a fraction into a percent. And basically, because a percent means out of 100, what we're going to do is to do the conversion from a fraction into a percent is we're going to take the fraction and multiply it by 100. Okay? And that's basically all that there is to it. We're going to take 13/20ths in this case, so we're dealing with the same fraction we just did before. We're going to multiply by 100. That gets us 65. And then if necessary, depending on the situation, you reduce the fraction down to lowest terms. Okay, in this case, we got just a straight number, so there's nothing that we really need to reduce in this case. And then the final thing to do is make sure you add that percent symbol to show that we're dealing with a percent. Because there's a big difference in this case between the number 65 and then the number 65%. So just be careful when you do that. But there you go. Okay. Final answer is 65%. All right, sample problem number 3. This time what we're going to do is we're going to convert from a decimal into a fraction. So kind of going in the opposite direction as what we did before. So I've got the fraction, or the decimal, 0.48 or 48 hundredths. And really what you want to do is you want to figure out what place the last digit in the decimal is in. In this case, it's in the hundredths column. So what that means is 100 is going to be the denominator of our fraction. Okay? So 48 hundredths, so the name itself gives you that clue as to what the denominator should be. Once you've got that figured out, then it's just a matter of taking your digits that make up the decimal and putting those values, those digits, in the numerator. So there's the 48. We don't need that leading 0 or anything like that. So 48 hundredths. And then finally, if necessary or if possible, reduce the fraction down to lowest terms. So in this case, when we reduce, 48 and 100 can both be divided by 4. So we always divide the top number and the bottom number by the same thing. And so we end up with the fraction 12/25. Okay? And that's our final answer. That's 0.48 4800ths written as a fraction, 12/25. All right, sample problem number 4. Okay, in this situation, we're going to take our same decimal number, but this time we're going to convert it to a percent. And again, percent means out of 100. So all we're going to do is we're going to take that decimal number and multiply by 100. When you do that, you get, in this case, 48 or 48%. Don't forget to write the final answer with the percent symbol on there, and then you'll be in good shape. Now, multiplying by 100 is the process that goes on behind the scenes when you go to do this. Another way that people think about this when they convert from decimals to a percent is they simply move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Okay. That's kind of the fast way without having to write out the multiplication, is to move the decimal point 2 spaces to the right. Now, the key thing to remember with this trick is you always move it 2 places, no more, no less, because you can have situations where you might still have a decimal point contained within the digits for the percent, and so you don't want to lose track of that. You always move the decimal point exactly 2 spaces, all right? And if you want to use that shortcut, that's great. It just saves you a little bit of writing, a little bit of work. Just don't forget 2 spaces and exactly 2 spaces, no more, no less. And then don't forget to put the percent symbol on your final answer. So 0.48 4800ths written as a percent is 48%. All right, 2 more problems to go. Here is problem number 5. What we've got left to do is we want to take percents now and convert them into the other form. So here we're going to take a percent and convert it to a fraction. Okay. To do that, we start by getting rid of the percent symbol. And then what we're going to do is we're simply going to divide by 100. Now, because we want our answer as a fraction, what we're going to do is we're going to write the division in fraction form. So we simply write 86 over 100. And it's automatically 100 on the bottom because it's a percent. Percent always means out of 100. So we want to make sure that you put 100 in the denominator. Then it's just a matter of reducing the fraction down to lowest terms. So in this situation, 86 and 100 can both be divided by 2. So that gets us 43/50. Not much can go into 43 and into 50 at the same time. So that's our final answer. 86% is the same as 43/50. All right, here's our final problem. One more conversion. We want to convert from a percent to a decimal. So again, we're going to start by getting rid of that percent symbol. We don't want that. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to divide by 100. Okay. And what we do is we simply take and write the answer that we get when we divide in decimal form. So 86 divided by 100 is 0.86. Okay. Again, we use 100 because we're dealing with percentages. Now, the other shortcut, similar to what we did before when we went from a decimal to a percent, is instead of multiplying by 100, what we do, since we're going in reverse, is we divide by 100. And what that means is we can quickly make this conversion by moving the decimal point to the left. And again, we move it exactly 2 spaces, no more, no less. So the decimal point's next to the 6 to start with, so 2 spaces to the left gets us 0.86. And there you go. There's your final answer for that conversion. All right, so there was a lot of information in this video. Again, there's 6 different processes involved depending on which way you're doing the conversions. But all of them are important because you want to be able to switch from one representation to the other. So hopefully the example problems just demonstrated what you needed to do in each situation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. I'm happy to help you out and answer any questions that you do have. Otherwise, good luck as you work on this module and work on the problems and homework and get ready for the quiz. If you need anything, just let me know. Thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.